Last night, we saw the best team in the AFC, Kansas City and Tampa Bay on Monday Night Football. Thousands and thousands of people in attendance to watch the game at Arrowhead, and one of those people was Taylor Swift. Fourth quarter, here we go. Chiefs down 17-10, third and goal, I should say. Mahomes, look at the spectacular play.
Yeah, he uses his body position to draw the linebackers up and just drops over, but scary moment.
Yeah, very scary. Down he would go. You're going to see the left foot plant awkwardly here. And for one brief moment, this was the worst moment of the NFL season. But thankfully, Mahomes jogged it off, returned. He was okay. In fact, better than okay. Coming out third and goal, tied at 17. Mahomes finding DeAndre Hopkins, Jeff, for D-Hop's second touchdown of the night.
QB-friendly wide receivers. You think about Hopkins used his body on the slant and give him an easy target to thread that thing in for a touchdown. Just a beautiful play.
So Casey's got the lead in the final minute, but here comes Baker. That's Trey Palmer, and they're in business. And 2 plays later, they're going to find Ryan Miller for the touchdown that's going to put them within 1. And then, Nick, what should they do?
You obviously got to go for 2 on the road, the less talented team. You have an opportunity. Put this away. Let's go.
Oh.
Take the extra point, go to overtime. All right, we're going to get the ball, right?
50-50, baby.
We're going to get the ball so we can lead this comeback drive, right?
Yeah.
No.
The facial expression.
He knows. The Buccaneers have been in
He knows.
They've been in 2 overtime games this year. They haven't touched the ball yet. That's Mahomes to D-Hop. He had 8 catches for 86 yards. Then we're going to see Mahomes to Travis Kelce. He had a huge night, 14 catches, 100 yards for the tight end. And then down by the goal line, give it to Kareem Hunt and turn out the lights.
Big boy ball.
Chiefs win it in overtime, 30-24. Mahomes throws 3 touchdowns, 291 passing yards. They are a perfect 8-0. Meanwhile, Coach Bowles on the decision.
We wanted to get it to overtime with the wet conditions on the field. We felt like we had to go in overtime instead of go for 2. We took our shots. We had our chances all game. We just lost the game. It didn't come down to that.
You know, when you're on the road against the defending world champs and you've got them on the ropes and you get a chance to win a game, you know, on one play, I think you got to do that.
All right, so let's clarify just one thing quickly. What do the wet conditions have to do with it, Jeff?
Nothing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe, that would suggest to me maybe we don't kick a long extra point. I don't know. The wet conditions have nothing to do with it.
It was wet while they were driving down the field for that touchdown, right? I mean, so, yeah, I didn't get that.
We had a lengthy and loud debate about whether he should have gone for the 2 or not in our first hour this morning. If you're with us, Jeff is on the side of kicking the extra point. But what we never really did address was that part of his comment, which I don't understand it with the wet conditions. The point that you were trying to make, because I want to do it a little more in a more condensed fashion in this hour, the point you were trying to make is that because they had just scored a touchdown on a play from essentially the 2-yard line, it was a little inside that, but basically you think with that they're running their best play, the best play they have from
a little
down
tight end
there.
hesitation. He's going to block down. Right.
So you're saying that you don't know that they have another one they like as much for the 2-point conversion.
Yeah. But I mean, I think when you're talking about a 2-point conversion, your chances of converting, I think, are in the 30s at this season.
This year.
It is not all 2-yard plays are created equal. Right. The heels of the toes of linebackers are at the heels of defensive backs. Everybody's tight. It's very difficult to just think you're going to just stamp this as we're going to go get 2-point conversion. I just think it's a much more difficult play than people realize. He's a defensive coach who believed his defense would step up and stop the Chiefs if they won the toss. They unfortunately didn't, but that's the way defensive coaches go.
I don't disagree with you that the 2-point conversion is very hard, specifically in that situation. I get it, and I understand your point about they might have run their best play. However, there are 3 distinct scenarios right now. It's like we could get 2 yards here to win. We could win the toss and then drive down the field once again against one of the best defense in football, or we could lose the toss, in which case we'll have to stop the best quarterback that any of us have ever seen. Like, of those 3 scenarios, I get how hard it is to get 2 yards. But in my mind, with a less talented team, I have a better chance of, even if it's a fluke, of finding a way to get 2 yards than I do of either driving down the field on this great defense again or stopping Patrick Mahomes again. Like, to me, it seems like analytics aside, ego aside, if you gave any of us those choices, Give me one play to win rather than hoping that I can outplay the two-time defending Super Bowl champs.
So without my receivers.
Yeah, with no.
So let me ask you this: if you were down 3 right there, and it's 4th down, you're down 3. Are you going to go for the touchdown?
Yeah.
So that's the difference. I'd have kicked the field goal and played for overtime. I would have done the same thing. Because it's initially the same situation.
I acknowledge that it's easy. I acknowledge that it's easier for me to sit here and say that now.
For sure.
But it's much harder to be in that situation and make the decision. But I think when I lay it out that way, it seems clear. And then thinking about the post-game press conference, I'd much rather stand up there and say, I thought we had a chance to win. Right. I wanted to end it. I didn't want to give it back to them or go up against Chris Jones.
Who wants to be in overtime?
So we have spent a lot of the morning debating that. I've not yet gotten to the next element of this conversation, which is math. Who doesn't love math on a Tuesday morning? Come with me, if you will. Math. Pineapple Jack has created today's mathematics equation, and it is as follows. Kansas City Chiefs plus DeAndre Hopkins equals what? He looked spectacular last night, Jeff Saturday.
Championship.
Is the answer to that question
Three-peat.
Three-peat. Is the answer to that question 17-0 on a three-peat?
I don't think 17-0. I don't think Andy Reid will play his guys 17. So even if they can clinch, I don't think they do it. If the Bills can chase them, but three-peat, I would put that in the.
I like my math. I
have a hard time with the 17-0, but I also have no trouble saying when I was wrong. And I thought DeAndre Hopkins wasn't going to be a huge addition, but we saw that on 3rd down. It's so impressive to keep these drives alive. And also, Patrick Mahomes trusts him. And we don't see Patrick Mahomes give a lot of guys chances to win challenge balls. And he's throwing up a bunch of 50-50 or almost 70-30 in the other way. This one right here is into triple coverage with a Pro Bowl safety back there, and he trusts DeAndre Hopkins to make that play. That's scary for everybody in the league.
Trust, right? That's how long DeAndre Hopkins has been in the Chiefs building. But I'll tell you this, when he got there, checking in with people with that team, how much is he going to be able to play in his first game? The answer was he's pretty good. We're really happy with what he's shown in practice. So they really feel, so a lot of times the reason you don't see teams make moves at the trade deadline is because we don't want to pay a price to bring in a guy that may not fit our system. Right. This is a guy that doesn't matter about the system. He'll fit in it because of the different way he sees the game, the number of different quarterbacks he's played with, the number of different offenses he's been in and been successful. He's an older player. They got to keep him healthy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But right now, while he's on the field, their offense is completely different.
We had this conversation about the Cowboys and how they were screwing up their entire team by decisions they made in the offseason. Decisions that Veach makes in season always have major impacts. And what he understands about his football team, they're a top 3 defense. Because of all this shiny thing that they scored 30, everybody's going to be excited. The reality is they're going to win the championship because of their defense. But a player like this that converts 3rd down is a quarterback friendly. He's not always going to have 2 touchdowns a week. But let me tell you, if he converts those 3rd downs and the Chiefs keep the ball and Pacheco comes back and Hunt stays healthy, all of a sudden this team controls time of possession better than anybody else in the league. They understand complementary football, and they play it to a T. That's what's going to help them through.
I also think there's a huge value to bringing in a superstar veteran like this who's never been on a real contender.
Right.
You drop that energy in the locker room mid-season, that changes things, man. That leadership and that energy boost, it happens in a way where you're like, oh, this guy's hungry. This guy's never been there, and he's great.
There's another element to that. Teddy Bruschi said that exact thing to me on Sunday for our Sunday Countdown show. Not only that it adds that energy, but that they want to win one for him.
Yeah.
We've got rings in this room, but that guy doesn't have one. He actually looked Randy Moss in the face and said, it breaks my heart to this day that we didn't get you a ring because I have championships and you didn't have one. They're going to want to win one. He's that level of respected a player.